Okay, here we are. It's going to be really, really fun. And I got to know, Cam, what was more overwhelming for you, being a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle or a member of the King family?
Wow. Since I was a kid during the King family and I started at 6, it was, oh, isn't this the way all people lived? So I can't say that it was overwhelming because it's all I knew. Interestingly, though, people like at the conventions, they say, what was it like to be a ninja, when you got the role for the Ninja Turtles? And I'm on the panel with my 3 other brothers, and we go, it was nothing. I mean, we invented it. I played Snoopy for a few years. That, I got tears. And with Turtles, it was 5 episodes. That was it.
Wow.
So we all went, nice, I got 5 days employment. The end. To get it was nothing. Once it was a hit, it was wow. And once we started our 3rd act, going to the conventions, it's, oh my God, people still care about us. And we spend 3 days saying thank you. So it's the retrospect that has been the most overwhelming and humbling.
From the heart of Hollywood, it's the Patrick Labyorteaux with Patrick Labyorteaux.
It's the Patrick Labyorteaux, Patrick Labyorteaux. He's the one you gotta know.
Tonight's episode, Cam Clarke.
Patrick Labyorteaux, he's the one you gotta know.
All right, you know him as Leonardo and Rocksteady from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Simba from Timon and Pumba, and over like 400 other titles, and as a member of the famous King family. I know him as the dude in the waiting room at the voice caster talking to Michael Bell. Please welcome Cam Clarke.
Welcome. I mean, no, you're the host. Thank you for having me.
No, absolutely. No, welcome. So here's the deal. So Cam is one of my buddies from the voiceover world, and I was going through all these credits. I don't know if we actually worked together, but we were always together. Because back in the day, you'd literally go to the places, and like I mentioned, the voice caster. I'd see you at the voice caster or wherever we were auditioning, and you'd be in the room, and we'd hang out.
All of us people from the golden age of animation from the 80s and 90s, we swoon, we sigh, we so miss the days when you went in for auditions, not only because you have the director, the casting person to tell you what they really want, but the relationships that we built in the lobby of VoiceCaster. I remember we'd be in there, we'd hang out because there were so few of us. It was like having a day party. And I can remember the gals at the VoiceCaster opening up that little speakeasy thing going, can you people keep it down out there? We're trying to record. That's what I miss.
Before we get too far away, I don't know exactly if I have another place to put this, but I did have to say, I did I did a play in Burbank when I was a kid at the Golden Mall Playhouse called Critics' Choice. And the guy who played my dad was Pete Renaday.
Stop!
And so I've known Pete since I was like 5 years old. So it's amazing because I know obviously he's this great voice guy and you have this great connection with him.
And who did he play in Turtles?
Shredder? Or was it? No.
Master Splinter.
Splinter, that was it. Splinter.
And here's the funny thing. I met Pete before the show, before we did Turtles. He and I starred, he was Detective Sherlock Holmes, and I was Lord Baskerville in Hounds of the Baskerville. Now, this little joint of a theater was above a bowling alley. Without sound, it was like someone turned the upstairs into a theater. It had been there for ages, but we'd be in some dramatic scene. Oh, he'd say, and the killer is bang, bang, bang. Yo, Sammy, that's a strike. Woo! What? And give up show business?
Exactly. Yeah, we've all performed I performed in the back of a deli on Ventura Boulevard to like one guy in an improv group, and you're like, why are we doing this? And it's like, what, give up showbiz?
My mom
Okay.
would tell story. One of my favorite stories of hers, because with the King family,
Uh-huh.
my mom was one of the King sisters, which is who started the family thing. She would tell me when they would play the lounges in Vegas. The
Uh-huh.
lounges were not in the theater; they were an area within the casino,
Yeah.
games and stuff. And they had like 4 sets a night or whatever, just like bands do. And I think they even had a 1 a.m. or a 2 a.m. And she says, you never know what it's like to be a star until you're out there on stage performing to 2 drunken Shriners and you hear this. They're vacuuming during our set. So if ever I feel like a brat or ever I feel, like I'm being a diva, I just remember if my mommy could sing to the tune of vacuum cleaners, who am I to complain?
Act 1, beginnings. The King family.
Yes,
Now,
I've heard of them.
I've got one brother, and my mom and dad didn't really connect with the rest of their family. So my family was 4 people. Please explain the King family. Like, this is this huge, you guys had your own TV show. You had your own like studio / nightclub with the Hollywood Palace right out here on Cahuenga or in Vine.
Yeah, right, which is now a dance club.
Yeah. So give me the short version of the King family as far as like what it meant. I mean, it's huge, but it's not, everyone's around still. You still got members everywhere.
Well,
but
except for all of those that are dead.
Well,
those that are alive are around. So,
true.
Yeah, right. As I mentioned a minute ago, my mom was one of the 4 King sisters, which is where this came from. And they were huge in the big band days. And then they reinvented themselves in the 50s because they were considered old news. They were already, just like now, you're in your 40s, so nobody wants you anymore.
Right.
So this is the long way around again. They made some new demos. They changed their sound, lowered their pitches, became more of a jazz thing, some unison. And a buddy of theirs at Capitol, without their pictures, took this tape to the brass and said, hey, guys, I found this great new girls group. And so he plays the tape and they flip over it. Wow, we need to sign them up. He goes, okay, so they're not really new. It's the King sisters. And they still took them. But Esquire magazine named them the best new up-and-coming group.
After they'd had a whole career.
Yeah, well, people's attention spans are what they always have been. Anyway, so Yvonne, my aunt, the moms are asked to do a benefit performance for a building fund. And my Aunt Yvonne goes, hey, wouldn't it be kind of a wacky idea if we, I don't know, brought our kids and our in-laws and our other siblings on stage and, just do a family affair? That's it. We did it like 3 times. The college where we were doing this benefit had their film college crew, I don't know, it was a Super 8 or what, whatever it was.
Right.
No film lighting, a stage at the university, blah, blah. They filmed it. She took it to a friend at ABC. He watched it, very crude. And he said, I'm going to get you a studio down in San Francisco. Cut this down to an hour and I'll present it. Again, raw footage, nothing.
Yeah.
She did. He presented it and they said, how soon can we get a pilot?
Wow.
So
that does not happen anymore.
Nor was it a thing we all set out to do.
So then the King family, like we were talking about, they get ensconced at the palace. You do your shows, and now you're a part of this. And like you were saying earlier, you're just a kid, but this is, I mean, it's your family. It's not like you're part of the Beatles, like where you created something. It's your aunt and uncle and mom and dad, and because your dad was in the band, right? Wasn't that?
No, my dad was actor Robert Clarke, who was king of the B horror flick in the 50s.
So he's still a king, just king of the bees.
But yeah, back in the days, a lot of the children who sang on recordings were literally the kids of the celebrities.
Right.
So everybody, that, talk about a small niche in recording. For example, my cousins were the backup voices on Doris Day's Que Sera Sera, and on Frank Sinatra's Cause He's Got High Hopes, and they already had so they had some recording experience, but not on stage. But they were no strangers to the business. In fact, my Uncle Jim, who ran, was it Warner Brothers at the time? He'd come home from work and go, "Kids, I need you in session tomorrow night at 7." And my cousin Jamie would say that she remembers going, "Dad, I have a school dance. I don't want to." That's how normal. You would have thought he was asking them to take out the trash. But they loved it, but they didn't get, it didn't stop them from going, not tonight. And he would go, "Oh, well, okay, you other kids want to? Okay. Tomorrow at, after school, I'll take you over."
So if this is such a normalized place for you, which I get it. I mean, again, like I said, kid actor, I get, and I have to work with my brothers. So a lot of similarities where it's like
you were together.
Yeah. And it's like such a weird situation, but it's very similar to like you're working with your family. How long before you realized how different it was for you than the other kids? For you,
the other kids, meaning other performers,
like
just kids.
No, just other kids. It's like obviously your family's doing a show at the Palace, and then when do you realize that? Well, not every family's doing that.
I think it wasn't like a light bulb or an aha moment. The closest thing that I can compare is when I became an adult and my own entity, my own self, and the show was over, and I'd have people over. Let's say I'd have people over for the 4th of July. Wait, everybody's not wearing red, white, and blue. What's this about? I didn't know that people didn't have the flair necessarily. I mean, that's a small example. But
that's right. It's like
when I have a party, there is a dress code. 4th of July, I'm sending you home if you don't have the colors on.
That's awesome. So so you
became around the piano at Christmas.
Yeah, where's Nat King Cole? Isn't he? He's always here at my house,
right?
And I've got everybody singing at my house. How come you guys aren't singing? So when you're growing up in this, then it's obviously an option. Was it a necessity to be in the business, or was it an open family? Like, yeah, you can be whatever you want, but the most influence is in entertainment.
Well, the money was good.
Yeah.
Especially if you were a teenager finding yourself with a bank account now. No, you were not forced. Everybody did it, but like my cousin Chris, you'd think the money would talk, but he'd go, "Yeah, I don't want to do it this week." So he was in it like half the time or whatever. My cousin Zan, when we got our second series in 1969, she decided she wanted to be a real girl. She was going to be a senior. and she wanted to be a cheerleader and blubbity blue and ba, which you cannot do if you're working.
Right.
So she passed. I think now she has even said, I regret it. I loved my being a real kid, but looking back in hindsight,
Yeah.
I think being with you guys on stage would have brought better memories to me, if that makes sense. I mean, everything's a choice, but
Well, sure, but I mean, the unique quality of the fact that it's with your family as opposed to strangers is a huge difference. That only you guys had that experience.
So many, as you know, and I don't know about you two, but when you are with strangers, sure, you form a family, if you do. But I know lots of kids, former performers, who were alone. I mean, as in the only family was their stage mother.
Right.
So it was a totally different jam than having mom right there and your brother and your cousin and your auntie. I think that might even have part to do why it didn't feel different. Because we also always were singing at home. It was a real thing.
Well, it's literally the family business. And the fact that there's a huge difference between a failed actor who wants to put you into the business so that they can feel successful versus your situation where your mom's the success and she's bringing you to work and you're doing what mom's doing. And it's, you know, and you go to the set with dad and you know these things. It's just part of the business. At what point do you realize that Cam wants to do entertainment for you?
You mean when it was over as a solo artist?
No, or just what I don't know exactly your story. So like when you became a human being that made his own decisions, when did you realize that you wanted to be in entertainment?
Well, my other love was art. And I went to Parsons School of Design.
Cool.
I wanted to be an illustrator, like of children's books and stuff. And so I was the first class of Parsons when they opened their LA school.
My dad went to Parsons. I'm so aware of it.
Your dad did?
Downtown. Yeah.
In New York or here?
Here in downtown. Yeah.
Wow. Look at this.
Yeah.
We could go
I know, crazy.
hours talking about the connections. Anyway, and you can tell your dad this. Art school is hard. I mean, these projects are like should be for prisoners, you know. And it was expensive, and it was really hard, and just I thought it would be different than real college. And so I was still kind of sort of pursuing it, but I really thought I was going to go into art. And then this voice thing, you know, there's a story about how I got into it, but I went, wow, I'm making money, and this is way easier than design school.
Right.
So I went to the school and for a second year and said, I'd like to get a student loan. And they said, well, you live at home, so we can't give you a loan. And I went, okay, hang on a tick. If I were spending more money and had my apartment, then you'd give me money because I'm more in debt. So I went, I'll show them. I'll quit school. And never looked back.
How did you get into voice? I mean, you said there's a whole story there. How did that happen?
Well, the first story, and I say this to all of you who are watching or listening, nepotism, by the definition, is not a bad word. And can we all just bring that concept back without the charge? So many people use it as, nepotism. Like it's like in the dictionary, it says negative thing.
Right.
My brother, when the show stopped, he started working in post-production. And he was working at Warner Brothers. And they, I'm sure you know, but I don't know if your listeners, viewers would, what looping is.
I know, but please give them a basic idea.
Okay, besides the obvious like video games, animation, and radio commercials, there is an arena of voiceover work that is called looping, and it's with television and film. You do it in post-production, just with the sound editors, the picture editors, all of that, and we supply everything from fight grunts to breathing to One out of 30, we have your suspect on Route 9. Please reply. And your brother has done great in the looping work. So all that stuff, the cartoon that's on the TV in the next room, the football game that's on in the bar, the sex scenes that need sweetening. And the true actors are never as good as we are. So we always, one of my first shows was Touched by an Angel. And Della Reese, for those of you that remember that show, was one of the leads. And Della had her voice was as low as mine, Angel baby. So I did her breathing and her size and stuff because I was the closest one to match her. But so my brother started me. He had me come in, and just like my cousin Jamie, I was saying earlier, he'd go, "Yeah, you want to come to this session Wednesday? I have class on Wednesday." And I kind of turned heads a little bit, I'll say, as a looper. And Columbia shared the lot with Warner Brothers back in those days.
Yeah, it used to be called the Burbank Studios, and it was just both of them, yeah.
And I got turned on to the folks at Columbia. And on one of those shows, serendipity, y'all. But with serendipity, whatever your career is, you have to be not only ready, but have your antenna up so you don't miss a single beat. And there was this couple that was on this particular movie, Linda Gary, who was really big in animation and blah, 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 all of it back in the 70s and 80s. Mm-hmm. And her husband, Chuck Howerton, who also beautiful voice of God thing. And after this day on this movie, they pull me aside and they say, "Have you ever thought of doing this for a living?" And I was probably like 22. And I went, because my brother just handed me this great job with money. Did I think about pursuing? I hadn't. My frontal lobe hadn't been it for me. And I went, And they said, Linda said, "Well, we think you should." And I went, "Wow. Okay." So this couple set me up with an agent, got me my first coach and my first animation coach in who? That's right, Michael Bell.
Michael Bell, the legend.
And it was a Cinderella. It literally took off from the second I started, both the looping and the solo voice career.
So I love that story because it's again very similar. I had an interview for a voiceover, just a regular interview from my commercial agent for a radio ad. And I got the job, and I had my co-star in the radio ad was Dick Sargent. Oh, and Dick, right? Lovely guy. And Dick Sargent.
And my favorite Darren, by the way.
The best Darren. Let's be honest.
I know I'm going to get crucified for choosing the second Darren.
No, best Darren. And so he does that thing like these folks did for you, which he was over with Don Pitts. I don't know where you were at, but he was with Don Pitts, and he brought me in. Don Pitts signed me as a voiceover guy.
Said, "Hey, kid, you I like your sound, right?" I mean,
yeah, and it was at that time, which was a very pivotal time where they were accepting younger kids like us into the business? Because before it had been all the radio guys and, like you're saying, the voice of God type stuff, but they were looking for these younger voices that sounded, different. And then Don Pitts had Paul Doherty there, and Paul Doherty took me to Cunningham. And so that's how I got into all of this. But it's very similar. It's like being, and meeting Michael. One of the greatest questions of the universe is, what's in that bag around Michael's neck?
I'm sure he's point I knew.
But he's got the best voice and one of the best dispositions of like hanging out in the room. He was just always a gentleman. I really like Michael.
And my favorite job of his, his home he calls Casa de Residuales. Because of what? That's right. Butter.
Butter. What? Butter. What? Butter.
And
probably the most money made for 2 syllables.
And whoever it was that got to say Sizzler, I'm sure bought a castle in France.
We'll be back after these messages. Have you ever thought about becoming an actor and making your friends and family jealous? Well, have I got a deal for you. Here at Working Actors School, we offer many different classes so you can become a famous actor like me. And we have a delightful selection of classes, including Adult Weekly. It's every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. Here you will learn how to be an actor with other adults. How do we do it? How is it possible? Is it a miracle? Yes, it is. It's a miracle called Zoom. We teach everything online so you can become a famous actor and impress your friends and family. So if you want to be a famous actor and make your friends and family jealous, then you need to sign up at Working Actors School. You can get a hold of us at workingactorschool.com. You can sign up for classes at workingactorschool.com. You can make a reservation for the class online at workingactorschool.com. So come check us out. It's workingactorschool.com. Act 2, Success. I know we're all over the place here, but I got to tell you, let's get to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because the career that you have, we can't go over. It's huge, because this is the type of job that you get when you're a voiceover guy. You could work 3 or 4 jobs in a day, depending on, where everything is located. If you're in the same studio, if you're, doing commercials, if you're doing, animation. So you started off to tell me a little bit about the Turtles. I know Robbie was in it, and I know you were in it. Who were the other 2 guys?
Barry Gordon and Townsend Coleman.
Townsend. Again, with you in the Tick. I mean, Townsend was amazing in the Tick.
And Townie and I actually met before that. We were both contestants on Super Password. And we both failed miserably. But we're in the, hostage day 13, where all the talent at game shows, you're kept in this place. And then, okay, you're up, because you would tape multiple episodes in a day. And we just connected. And he has been one of my best friends before Turtles. And, to this day.
So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles started off as this graphic novel that was black and white. The whole idea was a takeoff on how self-serious comics were, and they were very violent. And then somebody got a hold of the property. They do this animated cartoon. You guys go in, like you were saying, just a regular audition. You read for this thing. When you're reading it, was it obvious to go with that totally Valley dude thing, or was that a choice, or how did that happen?
Michelangelo had in the sides that he was like a surf dude.
Okay.
And each of the others were also, Leonardo was the leader.
Yeah.
Donatello the Brainiac, and Raphael Smart Alec. So this is your starting point. And again, there are casting people, so they can, and we all read for all 4 parts. Everybody did.
Oh, really?
And everybody in, every young guy in the business in LA. And the best part of this is, well, because I'm from LA and no one can do a surfer better than I, because, North Hollywood High, dude. And I can remember the day this voice started. It was before Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I mean, I graduated from high school in 75, and we were doing away before that movie came out. So They cast Rob as Raphael. They cast Barry as Donatello.
Sorry, Robbie is Robbie Wrist. We keep calling him Rob because that's
Rob Paulson.
Rob Paulson. Oh, that's right.
Robbie Wrist was
Rob.
a turtle, but in one of the 50 other incarnations.
Right, incarnations. So Rob Paulson, you know from Narf.
Pinky in the Brain.
Pinky in the Brain, yeah.
Yeah.
And anyway, was he an Animaniac?
As Raphael, yeah.
Yeah.
Barry as Donatello. They hired Townie and me, but they didn't know who was going to be Michelangelo and who was going to be Leonardo. They just knew they wanted us. So again, I am dying. I must be. It is written in the stars that I be Michelangelo. So we get in the booth, and they go, "Yeah, we don't know which we want for what." And so we're going to try you each on each part. One record, Cam, you'll be this, and then we'll switch. Townie, you'll be that. So first record, they literally flip a coin. They go, who's starting? They went, okay, Cam, you're Leo, and Tony, you're Mikey. So I'm like, damn. So at the break, they go, we take a break, we come back, and okay, let's lay this down. I went, excuse me, pardon me, you said we were going to switch. I went, no, we're fine. Yeah, but we're fine. And I was what a brat. I was so bummed because I wanted to be, and I was the stupid leader. But,
what was it about Michelangelo that you wanted? Why did you like that character at that point? Why was it the one you connected to?
I'm the only one from Surf High School.
Of course.
I'm a Valley bro.
Yeah, dude.
And did I think I couldn't do Leo? No. It's just what was more delicious to me. And it was Mikey.
So you do these episodes. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, and Leo was the straight man, pardon the expression. And the other three turtles are clowns and, doing cartwheels and goofy coconuts and stuff. And I'm just there to hold everybody up, right?
Right.
So I started pushing Leo into kind of a little bit of a parody of, since I was the hero one. I was like Robin of Batman. Yeah. Straight, just, we got to think of something fast. And I started pushing him into a little bit more of a parody of a young hero. Uh-huh. And on break, our director, Sue Blue,
Sue's great.
Break, and she goes, honey, can I see you outside for a second? I'm like, sure. So she takes me into the hall and she goes, what are you doing? What are you doing with your voice? And I went, well, I just want Leo to sound, like he's having fun and he's kind of silly. Well, don't. And she goes, you're the leader. And there's always a straight man in any comedy group, Smothers Brothers, right. Dan Rowan and Dick Martin. All of that. There's someone that sets everybody up, the other comics. It took me a while, but I got on board. And then I got to play De Fledermaus in The Tick, which was my opportunity to lampoon the world of superheroes.
Which one of my favorites? Well, that was one of my favorites.
In my new book. Now they're all here. How's that for a random?
We will absolutely talk about that. So you did these episodes, like you were saying earlier. It's like they don't know what they have yet. They just know that they've got a plan. And then it becomes this big thing where now you're on sheets and beds and towels and lunchboxes. And how was that? Was that a slow rollout or was that an immediate, because it's a huge juggernaut to this day. They're still making Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies. Was it a big deal at the time or was it like a slow build?
The 5-episode beginner obviously did well enough that they did us a regular pickup for whatever that was in those days, 22, or I don't remember what the first pickup
Right.
was for the first full season. When you were not on camera, what you come away with when toys are flying off the shelf is like, wow, that's wild. How crazy is that? But if we had been on camera, like the cast of Cheers or Friends or Seinfeld, we had huge numbers and everyone knew what these turtles were. So
Yeah.
we were always able to walk down the street. And I think it's that element for a performer, the loss of privacy is the negative. Right. Getting the right table at a restaurant is the perk. But we did not have that. What? Because our outside of the studio lives were untouched.
Right. And one of the other benefits, especially for voice actors, is you can be, and you can be the hero and the bad guy in the same episode. You can be different things in, 500 different, projects. The downside, which I don't think I've even done a good job explaining this, is you got paid for your time, but that's it. It's not like you were renegotiating huge multinational contracts. I would imagine it was the property was a huge thing. It wasn't like you were raking in boatloads.
The literal contract was, as you may recall, in the animation contract, you could do 2 characters for the same price. Mm-hmm. And if you were chosen to do a 3rd in that particular script, there's a little bump.
Right.
Our producer,
but we're talking like a couple $100 for a session. So it's like $500, I think was something at that time, plus a $50 bump.
Been around the 500 mark, low those many decades ago. I'm sure it's. You can look that up. I don't know off the top of my head.
What I'm trying to point out is like when people go, "Oh my God, you're Leonardo. You know how many houses did you buy?" Well, you're a working person.
It's not 9 years, 9 seasons, and our producer was a real dick. Fred Wolf, there, I've said it. In 9 years, we did not get so much as a bump.
Jesus.
Nothing. Take it or leave it. In fact, Rob Paulson, who, as I said, was Raphael, and one of the top most working guys in our day, got a pilot from Wolf that happened to be set up on the same day as a turtle record. Now, real people would go, we'll do pickups,
Yeah. And just Frank, go in at a different time and do those by himself at a different location or the same location, different day.
Frank said, because you had to be at every turtle session, you could not miss or they replace you. So he says to Rob, here's Rob working for the same producer. And he says, we got a conflict. And Fred goes, well, I guess you'll just have to choose.
Oh my God.
You heard it here first, folks.
Unbelievable. And that's the thing too, is that as friendly as everyone personally was, it literally is a type of business at that time where you'd routinely be going in on jobs that you knew the guy who was doing the job that you were auditioning to replace. I had the gig over, I was the announcer at the WB for a number of years where I was announcing the comedy. And if I was sick for a day, they were auditioning somebody else. And it's just the way that world goes because...
Great that they would come back to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember, God, who's the guy? He was the announcer for Fox and he had been doing it for like 5 years. Like, I forget the guy's name. It's not Townie, but it was somebody like that. Where
Townie was must-see TV on NBC for like 6
right. 16 years. But like this guy left because it was like he got married and he was on his honeymoon and they replaced him and that was that. It was like, but
And
I'm
they
gone a
stuck
week.
with a new guy.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, it's just, they don't care. And it's the beautiful part of the job is there was lots of work. You could be creative. You worked with a lot of the same people. So you became friends with the engineers and the studios and all the great things. The downside is that it was like, a piranha tank in some ways where it could just go as fast as it came. So you did this for a long time. And then what led to you do you still do the Turtles in different formats? Or is it just
We
guys?
are in our third act on the Comic-Con circuit.
Uh-huh.
And
Excellent.
that's our biggest thing right now. And a lot of people want the OG Turtles and accept no substitutes at these shows because they are actually nostalgia. They do have current people, but we got people who come up, and when I was 9 years old, I'd sit in front of the TV and I had no siblings and you guys were my brothers, blah, blah, blah. And, incredible stories.
Yeah.
They did a retro game a couple of years ago. There was old school design, and I think it was called Shredder's Revenge. And
Okay.
it was designed primitively, if we can use that word.
Like an
a number
8-bit,
of-
like the old school. Yeah.
A number of years ago. And when you say about when did you get it? Again, a lot of appreciation with a lot of things in our lives for everybody are after the fact. What is the Joni Mitchell? Put in a parking lot.
Paved paradise and put in a parking lot.
You don't know what you got till it's gone. Paved paradise. There it is.
Yeah.
Honda wanted to use us for a Christmas campaign to sell cars. This was a stop motion or whatever you call it of the action figures. And they wanted our action figures. So these producers and creatives are the age to have been in front of the TV when we were on. And I can just, I am humble. I am never not grateful and aware how different things could be. It is never lost on me. So you can picture the pitch meeting, and they go, "Okay, we need something to sell cars this Christmas." Okay, everybody loves their toys from Christmas. A lot of people harken back to their childhood. So what better way to sell cars? The slogan was, get that Christmas morning feeling again. And the Ford Turtles are jumping around, the little action figures are jumping around the car. And we would say, you remember when you got us for Christmas and then you lost us at camp?
Hey friends, remember getting us for the holidays? You're like, whoa, Ninja Turtles! Then you lost us at camp.
And we'd all jump around the car. And this is the first time we're back in the studio together in years. And we're like, this to be together again as these characters. And the suits are also going like this. If that doesn't open your mind to gratitude and the, oh my God, that mattered.
We'll be back after these messages. Hey there, I'm Patrick Labyorteaux, and I've been an actor since I was a little kid, so I know what it's like to be a little kid actor. So I have a class here called Youth Weekly, and that meets every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, and it is an awesome class if you are young and want to learn all about acting. We have a great set of kids, and it's taught on Zoom, so you can do it from anywhere. You can do it on your phone, you can do it on your laptop, on an iPad. It's awesome. I've had kids take a class while they were in the car coming back from soccer practice. I swear to you. So if acting is in your blood, come to workingactorschool.com and check out the Youth Weekly class every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. I'll see you there. Act 3, present day. When we move forward here, you're in Timon and Pumba. You work with Quentin, a buddy of mine who was on the show, Quentin Flynn, and Billy and Mandy with Richard Horvitz. But then you get into anime, and my son is a huge Bleach fan. You do kind of like the first wave of you're in Bleach and Akira, and then how was that? Because anime was like brand new when you were doing it. We
didn't even have the name anime.
What was it like? I mean,
it was just
talk about those two projects or that era.
Bleach, I think I was on like twice. My biggest titles, of course, were Akira, which I made $1.50 an hour, I think.
Wow.
Who knew that was going to be a granddaddy classic? I signed as many autographs for Akira as just about anything else. The other one was a show called Robotech, which was in the mid-'80s. Those are my two main anime things that people want an autograph on.
When you're doing it from your point of view as a job, like you say, it's $1.50 a session where they're churning through, because anime is famous for having so many episodes. And at that time, again, they don't know what they have. You don't know what they have. It's a gig that, fills the hours between 2 and 4, and then you go away. When did you realize that anime was becoming a thing, or is it just a slow build?
Well, again, my heyday in anime was long before it was a hit. They were the bastard stepchildren to original animation. So it was money.
I think, didn't they call it that back then? Japanimation was
I think you're making that up. No, I don't know.
I remember when they were trying to explain, because the idea was, it was all of this other product that was not in English and that you were revoicing it. And it was, obviously we know it now as anime. Can you talk a little bit about the type of, because you've done video games as well and cartoons and anime. What is, if there is, what's the difference for you as a performer in those different formats?
Oh, well, anime, video games, cartoons, it's all the same, except for in dubbing, you follow them, just like live action dubbing, which I did a lot of, foreign film. It's you have to fit into, you're syncing up to whatever is already decided. Looping, of course, is all about, I say of course, is improv. It is still having multiple voices, but it's all based, unless you're unless you're looping an animated feature, it is very live action. And you're talking just like you and I are talking right now. It's just this. Right. But the ability to improvise is the key. So those two worlds are totally separate. But I don't find a difference between the animation umbrella. You find out, do you want this cartoony, as they used to say? Do you want this larger than life, or is it to sound real? So,
got it.
The looping is a different world. Cartoons, for me, it's all the same.
Okay. So getting out of the voiceover area here, you've written this book. Now they're all here at the King family. Tell us about the book. Tell us about why this came about and the process of making it.
Yeah. My cousins all rolled their eyes at me when I chose the title. Now they're all here. It is, and I explained this in the preface in the book, it is the only line my grandma ever had on our entire run, which is like 15 years. And you know how people will say, well, we're not in Kansas anymore, or I'll have what she's having, all that stuff.
Yeah. Some
of the phrases from our show, whether they were improvised or scripted, have remained in our personal, that's what she said. lexicon. And if we are at a family thing, so often when someone is late or the last to arrive, someone will go, now they're all here. Or anyone our own private, we're not in Kansas anymore.
Right.
I already forgot the rest of the question.
No, it's pretty. I mean, that's a pretty specific. I get it because with that big of a family, it's good to know when they're all here. How did it come about? Why would you? I mean, obviously, it's a great story, but like, why did you take it on?
Well, my family calls me Marion the Librarian, which is the character from Music Man, because I just had this desire to be an archivist for our stuff. And I also had the financial means. A lot of this stuff was languishing in like my Uncle Jim's tool shed. And I took all the stuff and I had it reformatted to, at the time, which was Digibeta, which was not cheap.
No.
So I had the money. I had the desire to not forget all of this stuff. And so that combo, if I didn't have the money, it would be like, well, I wish.
Yeah.
The reason I did the book is pretty petty. Bob Mackie, famous costume designer, we were his first show as lead designer.
Wow.
I don't think anyone else can say that Bob Mackie made their Halloween costume when they were 8 years old. Said no one ever.
Except Cam.
A big, beautiful coffee table book came out about him a number of years ago. And we weren't Cher or, Carol Burnett or, all those huge stars. But we did get an entry. We got a page with a big, beautiful picture, which is also the picture that's on the cover of our book. However, the guy who wrote it, I don't know him, and so this is just my takeaway. He said in the bit about us below the photo that we were Bob's first solo job. And, the King family came out gangbusters, and after this first year, they all ended up on the unemployment line. Which I guess
random stray just to shoot you guys down for that.
Yeah, that's a funny joke. Now someone else could go, who cares? What does he know? Who cares? But I got this bee in my bonnet. I'll show you. We did go longer. And that was really the engine. I think at one point I wanted to do a Shutterfly, just a pretty, pretty picture book just for our family.
Right.
And that page in the book, it got to my fragile ego.
Don't mess with the family.
Don't mess with the family.
So how do we get this book?
Well, easiest place is on Amazon.
Great.
And
I'll have the link to the Amazon link down here in the descriptions as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And so you guys know the format. And the other title is over 100 years of entertainment from one family. We started, when I say we, I mean our moms, in vaudeville. And we have covered between all of us. My cousin Tina was on My Three Sons, one of the leads on that. And my dad with the monster movies, and Uncle Albino, who was the grandfather of, jazz and classical guitar. Stuff like that. All of us have step-out chapters in the book, those of us that had solo careers. If you're just interested in a history book of Hollywood, you got a century here, all told in first person. I had read a biography on Truman Capote by George Plimpton, who is a god. And at the beginning of it, he says, if you're looking for a straight up biography on Capote, I recommend, and he literally recommends book titles, authors, blah, blah, blah. He goes, this one, imagine yourself at a cocktail party, eavesdropping from conversation to conversation, because the whole book is first person by people who knew him.
Wow.
So you've got Harper Lee going, saying Truman would come doing cartwheels home from school, hoping his daddy would be there, and he never was. And you've got Gore Vidal later saying he was so drunk. He was always drunk off his ass. So I borrowed that concept, and for us, it was, imagine you're at a family picnic, drifting from conversation to conversation. So nobody speaks unless they were there. So it is 100 years, starting with Diaries of My Grandpa, and then the moms. None of us speak until we're born or on the scene. So it's 100 years of I, me, we, never they, them. So
that's
that
powerful.
Adds current, everything is right now, a century that is happening as you turn the pages, and not in narrative form.
That sounds amazing. I mean, it's a beautiful looking book.
Thank you.
And the pictures are, I mean, everything about it is like grand, just like the family is grand. I mean, like you were mentioning, like members of Arcade Fire are members of the family. I mean, it's like, it's not like
first cousins once removed.
They're everywhere. You guys are everywhere. We'll be back after these messages. Hey, I'm Patrick Labyorteaux, and I play an actor on TV, and I've been doing this for a long, long time. And I know what it's like if you are in a class with people, and sometimes you just want to have that one-on-one connection with the person that you're working with to go over, I don't know, a particular scene, or maybe you have an audition, or maybe you just want the privacy to try stuff that you don't really know is going to work and not have anyone look at you. Well, I have the perfect solution for you. It's called One-on-One with Patrick Labyorteaux. You can book your time at workingactorsschool.com, and it's just me and you for an hour going over whatever it is you want to work on, breaking down the script, talking about character, figuring out your intention, the spine of the scene, everything that goes in to making a dynamite performance. So if you're interested in acting and want that one-on-one personal attention, check out One-on-One with Patrick Labyorteaux. You can find all the information you need at workingactorsschool.com. Act 4, questions. Okay, so here we are. We're at the questions towards the end here. This is what we like to call Tina's Gotta Know. Tina's my wife. She came up with these questions. And first question is, what is that's showbiz?
Round?
The lightning round. Yeah, it's a lightning round.
You got a clock going on this?
No clock, no stress. But yeah, it's a lightning round. That's showbiz. What's the most Hollywood moment in your life?
Well, as a kid, as I was saying, we performed with Bing Crosby, with, Ray Bolger, Phyllis Diller. And for me, it was just all in a day's work. I never, like meeting Ray Bolger, we sang, us kids, Follow the Yellow Brick Road with Ray.
Oh my gosh.
But it was like just what we do.
Right.
What was the most Hollywood story? I got one from when I was a kid, and I'll give you one from Turtles.
Great.
We had a local Baskin and Robbins place around the corner from us. And I'm on camera, so I am recognizable. And whenever my dad would take me in there to get an ice cream, the owner of that branch would go, "Oh, you're that kid from the King family. What's that song you sing? Girls, girls, beautiful girls." My first solo was Thank Heaven for Little Girls from Gigi.
Oh, wow.
And he said, "Sing it for us." And I would go, "Oh, no." And he would ask it every time. And my dad would not intervene, raised by wolves. He's just, paying for the 25-cent ice cream. And finally, I went, "Oh, all right, I'll do it." So the guy picks me up, puts me on top, of the big clear case that you look through to choose your flavors. And on top of there, I stood and sang "Thank Heaven for Little Girls" to him and whatever customers were there, to thunderous applause. And I went, "Oh, I got that over with." So that would be
singing for your supper, literally.
The turtle one, which harkens back to notoriety and fame, if it's your face or not. I, for one, was kind of bummed that I didn't turn heads at all on the street. I was still young, and in those days you want, oh, look, that's so-and-so. You have that kind of
attention
thing maybe you want. And you might have experienced that being on camera for so long. But I'm not. Nobody recognizes me. So I'm at the movies. This is when Turtles were at its height, maybe second season, at multiplex, so there's multiple lines. At the end of one of the lines for a different show, I see this little kid, couldn't be more than 7, and he's wearing a turtle shirt, turtle hat, turtle sneakers, whatever, and is carrying his plush turtle doll.
Oh my God.
So I see this, and I go to myself, I'm going to give this kid a thrill. I'm going to tell him who I am. So I walk up to this little boy in line. I'm a grown man, so scary. And the kid, and I'm not making this up, the kid has a giant ice cream cone, and he's like that. And I look at him and see how he's dressed and all. And I go, so, looks like you're a big fan of the Ninja Turtles. Yeah. And I say, well, guess what? I'm Leonardo. Oh, yeah? And I'm Donatello. That sounds so scripted. And so I'm leaning down and I just go, okay, don't call the management. I'm going to step back over to my line. I went, okay, never again.
And now they beg you to do it at the convention, so it all works out. Okay, number 2, that's Showbiz Part 2. What's the most embarrassing Hollywood moment? I think you just told it. I think you just nailed both of those. So we'll move on. Show Me the Money. What would be your biggest
Let me see embarrassment. Let me see if there is an embarrassing one. That's just like showbiz.
Yeah, what's your most embarrassing Hollywood moment?
Okay. I like, who was it, your dad, that said he performed to like 0 people? When we first started.
No, that was me. I performed in a Young Miss department.
Yes.
Yeah.
So even as a kid, the expression, little pictures have big ears. I don't think my mom had filters around. She'd be on the phone and I'm sitting there in the kitchen drawing, and she's talking to her sisters or professional people about us. And I remember, for example, we played the Hollywood Bowl, and which is here, and my little best friend from 3rd grade or whatever was coming. I peer out, and I don't know how you peer out at the Hollywood Bowl since there's no curtains.
Yeah.
And I see that the cheap seats are not sold. I want to die. I can't believe my friend is coming and we're not sold out. I'm 8 years old and I'm thinking about box office. And when we started doing our specials, this is the same thing, and poor kids should have started therapy then. Our show, our first series was network, ABC. When we started doing all of our specials, it was syndicated.
Back in the day, that wasn't
which is
glamorous.
Where all sitcoms go to die.
Right.
And I can remember being on the schoolyard in grammar school, and a kid would, a friend would say, hey, when are you going to be on TV again? And blah, blah. And I said, oh, we have this Thanksgiving special. Oh, what channel? Channel 11, KTTV. And I would be mortified so that's my the embarrassing thing is that's how I was as a kid.
I love that. I think that story was just for me because only in Hollywood can you have a bully you by going, oh, you're in syndication. It's so great because I know exactly that feeling of like, oh, Channel 11. Number 3, Sheaux Me The Money. What's your biggest missed financial opportunity? I mean, we have them all the time here in this town. I'm not looking for numbers. I just, like we have opportunities sometimes that like, oh, we should have taken advantage of such and such.
Absolutely none.
Well played.
I was aware, and I have a sixth sense, a talent, a knack, whatever you want to call it, for listening to other conversations. And I know how to read a room. I'm not going to walk up to somebody, but my ears and mind were always available for find out who that person is from the host. And I'm not talking about raging Hollywood parties or anything.
Right.
But I listened.
Business parties, yeah.
I always listened, and I did not miss an opportunity ever. Unless I was out of town. Who knows what job I might have gotten if I was. I mean, if I'd missed a turtle call, if I was in, in Europe or something.
Well, I mean, that's the way to do it in this town. Okay, great. On Sheaux and Tell, as a teenager, what was your favorite poster in your room, and how'd you get it?
When you say my room, when I was in high school and I had to have a surgery, so I was overnight in the hospital. One of my buddies brought in that famous Farrah Fawcett poster where she's in the red swimsuit, all sexy, and he signed it. Get well soon, Cam. Love, Farrah. Everybody at that hospital who walked in, their jaw dropped. I think as far as my own room at home, it would be, remember, I'm older than you. So it
not by
was,
much.
Zodiac posters and, all that stuff, that black light and stuff, but I wasn't into hard rock or anything. So it was more just graphics, that kind of stuff.
That makes sense. I mean, I remember all of that stuff. Astrology was a big deal in the early 70s in that era. And it was like and the blacklight posters and Ziggy and all of those head shops that we had out here in the Valley.
I guess my first big poster was when I was a kid. I had a 6-foot long poster of Frankenstein that went on the inside of my bedroom door. Inside.
Right.
It's nighttime and you close the door. There's Frankie watching over you.
I love that. Hollywood's great, man. Number 5, Sheaux Down. What's the best thing professionally? What's the best thing you think you ever did, and the worst thing do you think you ever did? As far as like talent, like you're really proud of this job and you just hate this other thing you did.
Wow, what a great question. The best, both of these are not a chosen thing. It is the things that happen to us as journeyman actors.
Sure.
The best thing was the King family, just as a world. It's not it's not a one incident, and yet at the same time it is, because it was a lark. And nothing else would have followed without that having happened. The things we share, the kaleidoscopic, psychedelic, otherworldly, anti-main things that we did cannot be matched or duplicated.
I can't imagine. Yeah.
What is the worst thing I did? Well, I did get replaced on my first cartoon series. Can that be considered one of the worst?
Sure. I have performances that I hate about myself. I was just curious if there's anything that you like look at and go, oh, I was just like not good.
Yes. When I was a early teen, I'd watch our shows. We did a special from San Francisco, and my brother and I are watching a rerun of it at home. And I have this line, and I hear what my voice sounds like. It was so gay. It was a bit about Shakespeare.
Uh-huh.
And I said, "Ah, yes, but as Shakespeare once said, life is but a poor player who struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more." I don't even know if I'm exaggerating that much. And my brother goes like this and looks at me, and I go, "Oh my God, what is that? What?" So on my own, because I wanted to pass, don't forget, I did my own little speech therapy. And at first I started sounding like a lesbian gay golfer. And my S's were kind of here. And I remember my Aunt Yvonne coming up to me and like going, what's that voice? What are you doing? Nothing. I'm just saying my S's like this. And then I gradually got it to the very butch, macho person you're seeing today. And obviously it worked because I got a career in it. But I would say seeing that was mortification.
That's funny. I told this story online. I went in, Thery're Ravencroft was, Tony the Tiger. And I think maybe Townsend ended up doing it, but I auditioned at the voice caster for Tony the Tiger, right? And you get to that point and they go, "That's great." And I did the read and they go, "Yeah, try it again. Try it a little bit more like a tiger, like, just give it a little bit something." And I did it again. And remember Andy over there, and Andy goes, here, I'm just going to play it back for you. And he played it back and it was like, "Well, that's great." And it's like, it's not the way Tony the Tiger should sound. And every time I tried to do it, it came out more gay each time I did it. And it just, that story reminded me of that. It was like, oh yeah, sometimes you just don't hear yourself.
The other embarrassing thing, and we ended this question.
Yeah.
I was on a session for some commercial. I don't know what the product was. And they keep going on the talk back, guys. In the booth, they'd push a button so they could talk to you in the recording room. They kept going, "Yeah, no, try that." And I did 50 million takes, and it just wasn't hitting them. They get off the talk back, and I hear them, doing this thing. And then the producer goes on the, my name is Cam Clarke. Producer goes on the talk back and goes, "Yeah, hey, Cam, we meant Cam Brainerd. So you will get paid, thanks for coming." So they hired the wrong guy. Now, in those days, you got two Cams. You got
right,
me
yeah.
and Brainerd.
Right.
And I went, "Oh, well, I get a session fee. Thank you ever so much. And I'll be leaving now." So obviously it wasn't even, and Cam and I don't sound that different if you knew him. But
right. No, it's just the name. You and I have we lived the same life in different bodies. I got a gig. I was at the studio, and I go, I'm at the microphone, and they go, what do you want from me here? And they go, "Well, we love your Toyota ad. Just kind of do that guy." But I never had a Toyota ad. And so they hired somebody they hired me, but it wasn't the guy they were looking for. And it's like, oh my God, it wasn't even the same name. So I don't even know what they were thinking.
Back in the day, we all had beepers. There was a campaign for Jared Jewelers. And the guy that they wanted, and I had auditioned, the guy they wanted did not answer his pager. And it was one of the things where they need it right now. So I happened to be at the agent's office, and they go, "Oh, Cammy, Mark's not getting back to us. So can you go to this jewelry session now? Just lower your voice." Because this Mark guy, his voice was Jared Jewelers, more like that. And at that point, the lowest Jared Jewelers, I couldn't get really down there, but I did my best. And I ended up with years as a spokes for this company.
Oh, wow.
Even though I'm an imposter. When I mentioned the cartoon show that I got replaced on, it was a remake of Johnny Quest. And I got the part of Haji, which, that was a thrill because it already existed and I grew up with Johnny Quest.
Yeah.
So it's my first series and I tell the world and blah, blah, blah. My agent, I'm auditioning at the agency and the head of the agency pops her head in and she goes, "Yeah, honey, I just want you to know you've been replaced on Johnny Quest." And I went, "Well, who'd you replace me with? Who'd they replace me with?" And she goes, "Rob Paulson." So and he and I had been buds forever. And that's one of our biggest stories we share on the convention circuit. And perhaps we'll be doing a show near you this year.
That's exactly what I was talking about. It's like we were always like picking up different parts from different things and you'd still be friends with the person. All right. So final question. I asked this to all the people, but it doesn't, if you don't know, then just say Little House. Show me some love. What is your favorite performance of mine?
Wait, say what?
What is your favorite performance of mine?
Well, I remember when you were working at that strip club, the pole dancer.
Yes.
And the way you could do the splits, man.
It was a gentleman's club. It was a classy place.
Yes. Yeah, it was open from midnight to 5 a.m. Very classy. And the way you could split your legs was like, damn, son.
Well, I'm glad you saw some of my best work. Cam, I got to say, this has been really, really fun. So tell me again, give the name of the book and you can buy it at Amazon. What's the name exactly?
The name of the book is Now They're All Here. Over 100 years of entertainment from America's first family of song.
Beautiful. And I know the King family, not only from when I was a kid watching you guys on the show, but the Christmas albums. They were all over the place every year. They're so pretty.
They're like synonymous with like Andy Williams and stuff. And we remain grateful. And the fact that we still have fans out there that write the same things that my turtle fans do. My childhood. I came from a broken home. Entertainment is escapism. We all know that. And to know that I have been in people's living rooms since 1964 and have never been out of people's living rooms is so daunting. And the gratitude I feel for having been able to supply escapism for so many kids who are now 70 plus, is a badge of honor like no other, and it is never lost on me.
Well, that's so beautiful. We're going to end there. Cam, thank you so much.
It's the Patrick Labyorteaux Show. Patrick Labyorteaux. He's the one you gotta know.
Hey, everybody. I'm so glad that you're enjoying the podcast and checking it out. It is an audio podcast wherever you get your audio podcast, and it's a video podcast over on YouTube. My socials are all Patrick.Labyorteaux, and that is on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok. I'm everywhere. If you want information on the school, you can go to workingactorsschool.com. We have classes going all the time. It's a lot of fun. I suggest you check it out. Hey, we'll see you next time.
It's the Patrick Labyorteaux Show. Patrick Labyorteaux. He's the one you gotta know.